Hey, Clyde, how's it going, man?
Going well.
Well, I had a question for you. I listen to you all the time, and, I try to keep informed. And there's a lot of people out there, they listen to you as well, and they try to stay informed. How can we stop this, basically?
Can't.
We see what they're doing,
You
we
can't.
see the lies, and...
You can't stop it. I used to think there was something... We can't stop it because the mass consciousness won't accept the fact that we're going downhill. There's only a small amount of people. So either A, we do a missionary effort, and we say this is going on. You tell people, you bring it up in the conversation, you talk about it. You tell people, listen to my show, and there are other shows like mine to get the information. There are a lot of things you can do, but see, I can give you all the information, and it's up to all of us to come up with solutions, but you know what? Most of the time, most governments don't come up with solutions, or most people who are governed don't come up with solutions. They end up succumbing. See, right now, we're in the Paul Revere stage. Paul Revere rode on his horse and said, the British are coming, but nobody said, what do we do? He just said, the British are coming. They knew what to do, okay? They grabbed their muskets and they fought. Now, there are Paul Reveres in the world saying, communism is coming. The isms are coming. The destabilization of our government's coming. The economy is about to crash. People all go, what do we do? Truth is, we should have paid attention to civics class. We should have paid attention to things around us so that we knew what to do, or so that we know what to do. But, of course, we have too many people on the different political party sides, too many religious clergymen telling us all to jump, and we say how high, but nobody gets anything accomplished. We're all too busy telling each other what to do when we should know what to do. What do you do when you feel oppressed? Do you take it, or do you either walk away or you fight back? So what are you going to do? That's the choice.
Yeah, to fight back.
You don't have to fight back. You can always walk away and say, I don't want to be a part of this, and leave if you want. You don't have to fight back. You can walk away if you want.
That's not what you should do. You have the government basically, arming these small towns with SWAT teams, and when you have all that put together, there's people in the United States that have weapons and stuff, but you can't defend on all these SWAT teams, the military coming in, and probably even.
You think that maybe the whole idea of weapons and armed conflict probably isn't going to work? So what we have to do is we have to use our heads first. You think that maybe that's an idea?
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's using their head. I think the first thing they think of is we're going to grab our guns and we're going to start shooting. Doesn't work. You see what happened to those people in Las Vegas? Didn't happen the right way. Those guys thought they were in the middle of the revolution.
No,
maybe not. Didn't happen. See what happened to the Bundy Ranch? Didn't happen the way they thought it was going to happen. It was called off peacefully, but here's the deal. We got to remember. Here's the thing. You look back in history and you see how it all goes down, and you try to figure out what mistakes were made and how to improve on defense. We should close our borders right now, because I can tell you we're under threat of terrorism more now than we were 2 or 3 years ago. Okay? It just seems, I guess it ebbs and flows. We say, oh, the terrorism's there, the terrorism's not there. But look, the Middle East is back in a horrible way with ISIS and all this other stuff going on. They know what these guys are doing because they train them.
Mm-hmm.
So if they know how the dragons are going to operate, and they know that they're a threat, then you better start thinking they're a threat too and start protecting your family in some way. And tell your government, and by the way, if you want to avoid another 9/11, I suggest you pay attention to the borders. I suggest you pay attention more to the real threats instead of harassing American citizenry.
Yep.
So, I don't know. I don't really have all the answers. I just know that, we're watching the transition, and it's really uncomfortable to see the American people just basically ignoring it.
It is. They're too taken over by TV and all these other things. They're just content on not seeing the truth, I guess.
Well, it's a choice of ignoring it, finding out how you can beat it, or just laying back and realizing that even oppressed countries still have people who live and work and make money for their families. They have birthday parties and celebrate Christmas and all these other things. So, you take your pick of, I guess you choose your poison of what kind of freedom you want.
Yep.
So, Chris, I appreciate the call.
Well, thank you, Clyde.
You got to take care. Bye-bye. Let's go to Jason in Florida. Hi, Jason. You're on Ground Zero.
Hey, Clive, how's it going?
Good.
Glad to be on the phone with you. Let you know a little bit about what I think about this whole ordeal. I'm really beginning to feel that the American public just is too happy being in their comfort zone and not wanting to go out there and actually find the information. And the information where they're getting it from, a lot of the times, comes from, stations like yourself. I mean, not that I have anything against the information that you're giving to people, but it just seems like we are so focused on going negative with most of the stories that it's more like a fear factor. Like, we're almost trying to put fear in people so that they get informed about what their government's doing or about what their people are doing. But the reality is that we asked for this all along. Like, we as the people stood by and allowed our country, allowed our government to get too big, allowed companies to get too big to fail, allow the people that are supposed to be handling our legal system, top lawman of the land, Eric Holder, allowing them to just get away with doing whatever they want, Operation Fast and the Furious. I mean, it was since before Obama even got elected, we already knew the troubles that we had in the legal system, the troubles that we have with politicians like these that just want to sit in the power, collect a paycheck on the backs of the working public, on the backs of the people that have dreams and want to actually get somewhere.
But see, here we are now. Here's the deal. We have been, since 9/11, we have been programmed to be a staple of this country, or at least be fighting wars. We're not happy unless we're fighting a war, okay? We're not happy unless the war hawks are jumping them down, screaming and yelling and going, oh, my gosh, there's going to be another 9/11 tomorrow. Here's the thing. The governing body or the governing party needs to let us know why we need them, and we give them the consent to lead us the way they do. Literally, the reason why they are doing what they're doing is we're giving them consent, okay? If we say we do not give consent to this type of activity, and we do it in such a way where the government knows we do not want it, see, they assume that we want it because we voted them in, allegedly. But see, no. We didn't vote for the cryptocracy. We didn't vote for the shadow government, nor did we vote for all of the advisors telling Barack Obama what to do. We didn't vote for his puppet masters. However, his puppet masters are making all these rules. And here's the deal. The governing party has to direct anger and frustration from the people outward rather than inward of themselves. So when we have a war going on, the people are more willing to project their hatred and fear at others rather than at their government. And so we've been at this war for so long now, we have forgotten how to hate our government. Or we've forgotten how to, give our grievances to our government because we're so busy hating on Islam. We're so busy hating on Israel. We're so busy hating on the Latinos that we forget that we should start hating on our government for making all of this possible. And despising the activity and say we no longer want to be governed this way. And so here we are in this transition, and we're adopting some of the most horrible traits of the government as people. And so when you look at ourselves, we are a reflection of who's leading us in D.C. because they've programmed us to be good little sheep. We are the dogs now that jump through the hoop, and we don't have to be told to jump through the hoop. We just know when to jump through the hoop when the cues are given.
Can only go so far.
No. Don't kid yourself. Don't kid yourself.
Raised in the United States. I was raised in the United States from parents that came from out of the country. My father escaped through Guantanamo Bay into the base from Cuba when he was 18 years old.
Right.
When Fidel had just taken power. He was 6 years old when Fidel took power, and he saw that wasn't the kind of world that he wanted to live in. That wasn't the kind of country he wanted to live in. A country ran by individuals that feel they're smarter than the rest of the pack, that they feel they don't have to give the information to the people so that we can all as a whole make a decision. They're comfortable enough to make the decisions for us and tell us this is what's right for you. You don't know what's right. You don't know what's wrong.
Well, see, you're showing what you're doing is you're demonstrating one of those things I said. Either you go away or you fight, and he chose to leave the country. Okay. And see, that's the thing, is that either you leave or you fight or you gather people together that have like mind and you try to change the situation through the laws. So in transition...
You don't make all those people terrorists.
Well, you don't need to... Well, You're terrorists only if you decide you start hunting other Americans. You don't go shooting other Americans to prove your point. And you don't go shooting government officials to prove your point either. It's not how you do it.
Well, in Cuba, the way they would do it is if you are just part of the dissent and you're just spreading propaganda against the government, they take you out just the same way.
Well, yeah. I mean, what? You want to be a desaparecido?
All over the world.
If you want to be a desaparecido, then you'll be a desaparecido. That happened in Buenos Aires. It happened in Argentina during the Condor situation. I mean, you and I both know. Yeah. I mean, we've lived through it. We know. And I'll tell you, Americans aren't ready for this. I can promise.